If you build it, they will come. If you build it, they will come. If you build it, they will come.
Why are you whispering? And what are you talking about?
Well, you know, if you build a show, they will come and watch.
How'd you get in here anyway?
I met your new maid going out the back door.
I don't have a maid.
I bet you don't have a silver tea service anymore either.
My name is Jimmy Sparks. I wanted to create a show that showcases collections and collectors. Expert mega collector Doug Smith and I have no trouble finding incredible collections in every category you can think of, and in any neighborhood in any city. No selling, no buying, no haggling. We're not interested and they're not either. We are all about the stuff. It's collecting. Seriously.
Oh, hey, Jimmy, what are you doing?
Well, I try to find 30 minutes every day so I can practice Sandlot Slugger.
Oh, Sandlot Slugger. Never heard of it.
You never heard of Sandlot Slugger?
Somehow it's eluded me.
To this day, I'm undefeated. I've never lost a game.
Yeah, I know what undefeated means.
I beat my brother. I beat my sister. I beat Mickey, Steve, Gary, Mike, all the kids in my neighborhood. And a few years later,
I get it, Jimmy, but what's with the spotlight?
Well, I try to simulate every possible game scenario. And today, the hot blazing sun is right in my eyes.
I guess it's just a good thing that the game hasn't been rain delayed. But isn't this an indoor game anyway?
Look, I know you've never played before, but how about a game?
Well, I don't know about an entire game, but
Look, if we don't play a full 9 innings, I can't record it. It's not official. Bam! Bam! Ooh! Oh, that's gonna hurt tomorrow. Sparks is putting on a clinic today, folks. Bam! Back! That's out of here!
electric football is a whole lot less physical. Today we're going to visit with a serious baseball fan who's been collecting memorabilia since the Brooklyn Dodgers left for Los Angeles. You know, Rod, as I'm doing this interview, we're right in the midst of summer, and with baseball's All-Star game right around the corner, I couldn't think of a better time to take you up on your offer to come over and take a look at your baseball memorabilia collection.
This has been a lifelong adventure for me from the time I was a kid until even yesterday.
You know, when I was a kid, it seemed like everybody in my class had a baseball card collection. But as I think about it, probably very few of them have even a remnant left of what was really important to us at the time. What gave you the insight to hold on to all your baseball cards?
Well, to a lot of us collectors, there's an old saying that my mom threw my cards away. I was lucky that my mom, who was kind of a collector herself of different things, didn't throw my cards away. Here's an example, Doug, of something that my mom got for me. I got it one Christmas, and she probably found it at a flea market. It was in a little black oval frame that was all rusted, and I didn't really care about it. I just kind of hung it on the wall. And then one day, just doing some research, I was looking in a catalog and saw this card, and saw that it was an 1887 Scraps tobacco card. And in the story, it said that these cards were reproduced in the 1920s, but it was easy to see what the reproductions were because there was writing on the back. So I very carefully took this off the wall and took the frame apart and turned it over to see that there was no writing on the back, that I had an original card, one of the first 20 sets of cards that was ever issued. That was a punch-out card from the World Series. It was the Tigers and the Cardinals were the players that were represented. You
know, back in those days, cards were really trade stimulators and mostly put out by the tobacco companies.
They were all tobacco cards, and that's what leads into the Hannes Wagner card that is the most valuable card in the hobby because he didn't want to be associated with tobacco. So he had it pulled, and that's why those are so rare.
Can you tell me what year you started collecting cards?
Well, I started, Doug, in probably the late 50s. 1958 is the first year that I can remember actually buying cards for nickels and pennies down at the grocery store. I was able over the years to finish a 1958 team set of the Los Angeles Dodgers, the first year that they moved from Brooklyn to Los Angeles.
It's easy being a Dodger fan because you got Sandy Koufax and Don Drysdale.
I kind of started out with Duke Snider, and this is my Duke Snider room, where I have not just cards, but programs and autographs and advertisements. And
so what was the connection that you've memorialized him in this room?
The first recall I have is playing catch with my older brother. We were baseball nuts all day long, and he would be Al Rosen, and he kind of told me to be Duke Snider, so that's how it started. But then I got real interested in the Dodgers, and boom, what did they do? They moved from Brooklyn to Los Angeles, where you couldn't really hear their games or even read about them until probably about a day after they played. Doug, this is the first Duke Snider item that I ever got. I was probably 10 years old, and my folks wrote to the Dodgers and asked if they would send a postcard autographed. It took forever, but you can see that I really got a lot of use out of this. Well, what was really neat too is on the back of this, it's addressed to me, right to my home, so I know it came right from the Duke himself.
It's kind of fun to see how baseball cards are made on these giant sheets.
This is how they were produced by the companies. There were 6 sheets that would make up the whole set of cards. This is the whole 1978 top set. And when they cut them, sometimes they were miscut. You didn't want a miscut card in your collection. Well, today's collectors don't have to worry about that because they're all done digitally.
I noticed over here that we have some old baseball equipment, an old glove and a ball.
This ball, Doug, my dad played for the University of Iowa. He was a pitcher and played basketball. And this is actually a game that he pitched, and he beat Michigan State that day. He was a letterman at Iowa in both baseball and basketball.
I'm a big Iowa fan, and you neglected to say that he was all Big Ten in both baseball and basketball, and not too many people can say that.
This is my dad's letterman's jacket from the University of Iowa, 1941.
You know, that's a fantastic family heirloom you have there. And of course, he played back in the early 40s when Niall Kinnick was winning the Heisman Trophy for the University of Iowa.
He was friends with Niall Kinnick and knew him well.
Was he?
Yeah.
I assume that these are all game-worn or maybe autographed jerseys?
I got into the uniforms later in my time in the hobby, and they are all game-worn. This is one of my favorite pieces because I was a Dodger fan. This was Joe Ferguson's, who currently is a manager in the big leagues, but the jerseys all went down to the minor leagues at that time. This went to actually Waterbury, Connecticut. They got a lot of wear, and then they would make them available in different trade periodicals for people to bid on in auctions.
Well, it really is very colorful, and I noticed that you have a lot of examples of the different teams here. This one over here looks like it's autographed.
That's autographed by John Wathan, who played for the Royals and then went on to become their manager.
Let's talk a little bit about the vintage equipment that they used back in the old days.
This bag came from Cambridge, Iowa. My grandfather played on the town team. I actually found this in my grandma's attic. I got some pictures, and this is the Cambridge town team of 1904. That bat is somewhere in this picture, Doug. I can't tell which one it is. But my grandfather, who I never met, played for the Cambridge Cubs. The only thing I noticed is there's not a lot of marks on it, so maybe my grandfather wasn't a real good hitter.
I noticed that you have a lot of old programs up here too.
And this is a scorecard from the Yankees and White Sox. It shows Murderers Row with Babe Ruth and Lou Gehrig. Babe Ruth actually hit a home run in this game. And here, Doug, is what every Cub fan hopes for at the start of each season. This is a scorecard from the 1945 World Series when they played the Detroit Tigers. This is the last year the Cubs played in the World Series.
You know, there's something magical about that era, isn't there? Baseball was still America's favorite pastime. I mean, that's what we did as a kid, right? Before computers and video games and even cell phones.
We couldn't wait for Saturday afternoon to watch a ball game because there was only one game a week, and it was Saturday afternoon, and at that time it was usually the Yankees. We would plan our afternoons around watching the one baseball game that we could see. Just the last 2 months, my grandchildren have been interested in this, and so now I have 3 young boys that are down here all the time and asking me questions and looking at it, so I'm hoping that maybe I can pass some of this on to them.
When we're talking the future of collecting, well, we're talking about these 3 young men who are at the top of their game right now in collecting baseball memorabilia. Let's take a look. Do you like to collect?
Mm-hmm.
Can you tell me what the most
your most favorite piece is here?
The ball that says my name on it.
Who's your favorite player?
J.J. Hardy.
He's got the same name as you.
Mm-hmm.
Were you named after him?
No.
How much do you think this collection is worth?
$100.
$100. You think your brothers have that much money?
No.
Have you gone to any baseball games?
No.
Don't you think it's time?
Yeah.
Maybe you need to ask Grandpa if he'll take you to some games.
I do, and he won't.
Are you done talking to me?
Yes.
Hi, sir. How are you doing today?
Good. My name is Patrick.
Patrick, it's great to meet you. Now, can you show me what you have here in your collection?
I have 2 baseball books. Expo little helmet, Rocky little helmet, Blue Jay little helmet, cards, and I got a red sign.
You know a lot of people are going to find that you're famous pretty soon. What do you think of that?
Yeah, good.
Do you know your little brother is playing with my feet?
Yeah.
That looks pretty heavy. Can you lift that?
Yeah.
So you guys get along really well?
Yeah.
But you're wrestling all the time. Is that fun?
No. It hurts me.
What's your name?
Isaac.
Isaac, how old are you?
3.
3 years old. Can you count those on your fingers?
1, 2, 3.
What do you like about your collection?
My private baseball bat.
Can you show it to me? That's really nice. Did you see your brother's bigger bat? Do you someday want to steal his? Can you say, I like to collect?
I like to collect.
I like to collect baseballs.
I like to collect baseballs.
I like collecting seriously.
I like collecting seriously.
That's what I'm talking about. Thanks for joining us today.